So in this video we are going to look detailed into task dependencies. So what is a task dependency? So as you all know that, say when you create the schedule for a particular project, you will have a predecessor. So that predecessor will help you to understand the interdependencies between the task, right? But task dependencies itself could be of different variety. It could be finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, start to finish. So what do you mean by finish to start? The finish to start is nothing but finish of one task triggers the start of another task. Then start to start is start of one task triggers the start of another task. Finish to finish is two tasks must finish at the same time. Start to finish is the start of one task signifies the finish of another task. Okay, it might be looking a bit confusing for you. So let's get into an example and understand it in a better way. So just consider this. This is finish to start example. Okay, so finish to start is basically the most common case. Okay, so in finish to start, just consider that you are responsible for construction of a new building. So you have a series of tasks which is actually happening there. So in that, finish to task dependencies example could be like a relationship between get building permissions and lay foundation. So before starting to lay foundation of the new building, you have to get all the permission, right? You need, unless or otherwise you get all the permissions for building a new building, you cannot lay the foundation of it, right? Okay, or you could say that you would have to finish one task. You should complete get building permissions, then only you can actually perform this lay foundation. So finish to start. Okay, you have to finish this one to start this process. So this is nothing but finish to start. So now the next example is finish to finish relationship, right? So finish to finish relationship is basically like the successor task. Say if you have these two tasks, so this is the successor task, this is the predecessor task. So successor task cannot be finished before the predecessor task is finished. Okay, so say just understand that, say you have like put in drywall and electrical installation. These are the two different activities which you have there, right? So both tasks will be worked on at the same time. You can actually put in the drywall at the same time. You can actually start doing the electrical installation from one side. It is completely fine. Okay, but only when you finish this put in the drywall, you will be able to complete this particular task. So finish to finish. So you have to finish this task in order for your successor task to be finished. Okay, so but you don't have to wait for this one to start this one. You can even start this. You can start putting the drywall from one side, and you can even start the electrical installation from one side. But you can finish this electrical installation completely only if you finish this put in drywall, right? So the electrical installation cannot be finished unless or otherwise you finish this task. Okay, so that is nothing but finish to finish dependency. Now comes start to start dependency. So start to start dependency basically states that the successor task, say this is the successor task, paint the exterior. Successor task cannot be started before the predecessor has been started. So these two are dependent. This cannot be started, otherwise this is started, right? So paint the exterior. So this task cannot start before the task assemble scaffolding, right? Because you have to assemble your, say if you are putting the dog kennel, you need to make the wall, you need to build the base, you need to build the ball, and you need to put the roof, and you need to complete all the scaffolding, and then only you can actually paint the exterior. So both the tasks can be are being worked on the same time. However, scaffolding must start before the painting can begin, right? You have the base and you have the walls, right? So when you have the walls, you can actually start doing the exterior, but you will be able to finish this only if you finish this task, right? Only if you start this task, right? So that is start to start. You have to start this task in order to start the another task, right? So start to start states that the successor task cannot be started before the predecessor has started. You should have at least the walls to paint it, right? So you should start this task in order to start this next task, paint the exterior, right? That is start to start dependency. Then comes the final one, which is supposed to be one of the complex and the most complicated one to identify and understand. So start to finish is basically the dependency that states that the successor, so this is the successor task cannot be finished before the predecessor has been started. So it comes actually in very rare situations as well. So start to finish dependency could be between, say, provide building administration, handover building administration, right? So this is the predecessor and this is the successor. So the company that built the building must continue to administer the building up until the chosen supply is ready to take over. Okay, so the person who is actually administering the building, okay, they have to keep on doing it till they hand over the building administration, right? So the successor task is completed before, okay, being that the successor task is completed before the predecessor, even though the successor task may be completed before the, but you can hand over. So only after the handovering, you will be able to provide this building administration to the next party. Okay, so the start to finish dependency states that the successor task cannot be finished. So you might have finished, okay, but you have to wait till this handover happens. Okay, so you have to hand over and then only you can say that this your successor is actually finished. Okay, so this is a complex one, but just understand this is start to finish. So today we have actually seen about this different type of dependencies. One is finish to start dependency, finish to finish dependency, then start to start dependency, and start to finish dependency. So how can you actually see this in your Microsoft project? Say in your Microsoft project, say if we take this kennel project, okay, so these are all the various activities which we have here. So just taking this draft design. So this draft design has got this this the successor view, right? So its successor is actually the expert design view, right? So now, so it was a detailed Gantt chart view. So if it is a detailed Gantt chart view, you have the successor, and I am going to the Gantt chart view so that we are in the predecessor view. So if you take this draft design, you have 3 and 4, right? So 3 is design layout and select the location, and then 4 is nothing but define layout, right? These two are the so when you click over here, okay, so these are the two different predecessors. So when you look at this here, you can actually select whether each one is actually finished to start, or whatever be the type of the dependency, you can actually mention the type of the dependency. And if you want to have any lag or anything like that in your designs, you can actually put it here. Okay, so this is nothing but the finished the dependency. This is how you will do the implement the dependencies in the Microsoft project. Hope you understood what is the task dependencies and how you could actually do that. So when you look over here, it is finish to start. So when you look at the finish to start, this is the most common one. All right, so in the finish to start, you should always understand that one thing. So before starting the lay foundation, you have to finish these two, right? You would have to finish the one task before starting the another, right? So when you look at this draft design here, the select location, design layout has to be completed. Only after completing these two, you will be able to start the draft design. That is what the meaning of it. So when you click over here, this is both, it's nothing but what finish to start. Both of them are finished to start. These are the predecessors. For the predecessors, we will give this finish to start dependency. Okay, so this is how you have to do. So hope you understood what task dependencies are, and hope you will be able to do it well. Thank you. Just one thing which I wanted to show you is that you have this example here. So this is example exercise 2 program. So this is a small university. Say you are getting the forms for you're going for a higher studies out abroad. So what are the steps that you have to actually perform for getting admission into another university before your classes begin? So the first one which is actually shown there is a simple one, and the second one they have actually asked, this is about the task dependencies. So identify at least one task that can begin a few days before the predecessor task. So justify your selection. Okay, so change the lag time and save it into. So you are asked to identify one task that can begin a few days before the predecessor task. okay, before the end of the predecessor task, right? So in this case, say if you could you have a certain task which is actually given here, right? So in this, when you look over to it, say just understand that you have to determine and requirements and go for the shopping, right? And pack and make final arrangements really. So as and when you identify the shopping items and get it done, you can actually start packing. You don't have to finish all your packing and then you have to start packing, right? Shopping and then you have to finish. So this is something like that. Now another question which is actually asked here is, so this is just one scenario, you can identify any scenario you want, any dependencies like that. Now the second question which is asked is that to identify at least one task that can begin a few days after the end of its predecessor task, right? So in this case, when you look at here, so the one thing which I could identify is that, so you're traveling to the new university place and you are moving on to the dormitory, okay? Then you have finalized registrations and class and everything, right? So probably after moving into you can actually go a bit early or something like that. Say you are reaching there on Thursday and your classes starts on Monday, right? So in such cases, after finishing this task, you can have some breathing space and then start this particular thing. But this all depends upon the number of the days and everything which you have in your hand, okay? All depends. But this is one thing which you could do. So after the finishing of your predecessor, you can have some breathing space and then start this particular task, because this is the predecessor for this, right? So like that you can actually think about it. So these are certain things, different type of the interdependencies which you can actually think about and work on it. Thank you so much.